Downloading.
I am
Downloading,
part Scottish,
downloading,
Frank. Actually,
downloading,
and we do have a
downloading.
tartar, but it's not this. You're just trying to bag on my fashion again.
I think IFI bot
You're,
is spazzing out, so give him a second.
yeah, it seems like it is. You're downloading. You said just downloading.
Yeah, I'm
What do you
downloading
download?
the
Don't tell us if
YouTubes.
it's not something. If it's something that can get my channel shut down.
So I find so like you're the only person I know right now that knows how to use one of these VTuber avatars. So whenever I make my big panel stream movie, do you want to be like do you want to embody like the VTuber character?
The creature.
Yeah, I think humans feel more comfortable talking to some sort of humanoid representation.
Oh yeah, ask PF Young.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that today, Jeff.
Oh, you are. That sounds like fun.
One thing at a time. So,
Wouldn't it be great if I could actually get this panelverse horror movie together? If we could like get Vosh in it and have him the first one to die in the movie, though, wouldn't
That
be
would be
amazing?
hilarious. That would be hilarious, honestly.
so
Have him have a heart attack while
Not even. It has nothing to
being
do
a
with like the horror.
nah,
Nothing to do with
nah.
the horror element of the game. He just has a heart attack from being fat. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
So,
That's really mean.
so I would like to comment that there are only true.
You want to go
left and
gut to
right.
gut with him, buddy? That was my favorite. That's I think my favorite line.
Gut to gut. Okay. That's
Gut
pretty
to
funny.
gut.
Let's go gut to
What
gut,
are you
man.
saying, I
I'm waiting until they're done. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead, Ivan. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's
I did.
okay. Being true left and right, I would agree that there are some left and right people. By the way, you have me on the left and Lib on the right. You should switch those. You've got us.
No,
backwards.
we like the contrast.
Yeah.
This way,
No.
it throws everyone off. It's
I
everyone's
can
like,
switch.
is Lib
Oh.
on the right? He's on the right, so how could he be on the
Apparently.
left? He's on the left, so how could he be on the
Oh
right?
no.
It's confusing.
But you got to keep it simple for your audience because
you
they have
have to
trouble
subvert-
following.
we have to-
what are you
we have
What
to
are you
do-
trying to say about our audience, of which you are one of?
I'm trying to say that if words
Keep it
have
simple.
meaning, you have to discuss them properly in context.
Kiss.
Well, as me and Lib recently discussed, I'm a huge fan of Ryan
Okay, I'm gonna have
Johnson
to
and
limit
last,
you
in the Last Jedi. So
God.
I
I'm being
believe in
audience. Frank
subverting
has put in
expectations
enough
whenever
effort to
possible.
audience capture,
So
he gets to influence
Oh,
the
yeah.
show a little bit.
I really
He
I
gets
really
to.
believe
I thought he just
subverting
did.
expectations.
Small
Subverting.
doses is the message I'm getting from the feedback we're getting from our viewers.
100 grit sandpaper. Oh God.
Well, I was trying to be nice.
Ugh.
I do want to hear what you have to say, though. So sometimes our audience is just going to have to stop their ears.
Yeah, you know,
Grit and
Frank. I
Barry.
mean, Frank, don't dunk this the wrong way, man. But you know, but buck up or shut up. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I'm
welcome to
saying? You know?
challenge any word
You know,
said.
come
in
on
public.
up here and say that to iFi's face avatar.
They fear
You
me.
know?
They fear the iPad.
Some people are top. Some people are about. Wait, what?
And
I was-
I am a top for sure.
I was shown a funny comic the other day. It was like of like, you know, the two sort of people like laying in bed after having sex, you know, one smoking, one, you know, sort of like with a blush cuddling, and it's like the bottom is the one smoking and the top is the one with a blush like cuddling. It's like facts.
Why do you think I'm smoking right now?
So you're a bottom.
I don't get it.
That's
I'm a
it-
power bottom.
it's
I'm a
funny
power
because
Is it
bottom.
usually the top that smokes the cigarette?
I do all the work, but
well,
you know.
stereotypically that's what you'd think. However, at least in many in like my experience,
I mean, I'm
most
sorry. I'm
tops are like
sorry.
big fucking softies.
People can say everything they want, but lady being on top, you know, it makes the boobs look better and everything else like that. So I mean, you know,
Where
you
can
just
the
gotta-
stream
That's
go
enough.
from here?
Oh
I
come on,
know.
we're not gonna get banned for that. People have straight up like sex
I don't
streams
see
where
where
they
you
talk
asked
about sex
where
advice and
can
shit
it
like
go
that.
from here?
People have like sex ASMR. Like we were just
We're 11
discussing.
minutes in, and we're already on this.
We're discussing tops and bottoms.
We're just
Jeff.
getting
Tops and
we're just getting the lube. We're just getting the stream all lubed
It's
up.
just
That's all
the
we're doing. Tip. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
it's 2 days after Valentine's Day. I'm still in the Valentine's Day. See, I got the lighting and everything. I'm still in Valentine's Day mode. I'm
Yeah,
feeling
we're-
the romance right now. So
Yeah,
Well, y'all go at it. I'll go on mute or something.
I'm especially feeling that romance. We're about to go to a weed shop later today, and I'm gonna get my girlfriend to smoke like some actual flower. It's gonna be good. Good times.
Oh, she hasn't smoked
all
before.
right.
She has, but like not with like actual like flour, just like with the
vape-
resin
vape.
or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
the concentrate.
Oh, like yeah,
Yeah.
with the dabs. The
Yeah.
dabs.
No, not dabs. Dabs are no, I don't like dabs. I'm a
I've
stoner.
never,
and I don't
I've never
like
smoked a
dabs.
dab.
Dabs are trash.
Don't.
Only trailer
But
park people do that.
hash, I like. I like hash. I prefer hash over weed by far. I think hash
Really?
hash to me is a much more mellow, like cool. I mean, I guess it depends on what the hash is made out of, but like
Yeah.
I've had hash that
Yeah, I
like
guess
Sex,
that's
plus hash
drugs,
will last for so long.
rock
You
and
can
roll.
just-
Favorite rock
a
and roll.
little bit of hash
smoker.
will smoke for like a week and a half if you smoke it right, and it'll do.
Yeah.
It'll
Liv,
do just as
there's
much.
another applicant to your polycule.
I know.
Right?
I know.
What's the
So many.
process?
You have to be willing to listen to me rant about nerd shit for basically ever.
I think he's already cleared that bar. I mean,
Yeah, he
even
kinda has.
helps to nerd shit along sometimes.
Have you ever heard of Ernest Cline?
Sounds familiar. Weirdly, I don't.
He's mostly famous for writing the book that the movie Ready Player One is based on, which is not a great book.
Oh, okay,
But
yeah.
prior to him writing that book, he did hilarious spoken word, not poetry, but like slam poetry
slam
type
poetry?
things about geek stuff.
Oh my
And like
god,
he had
yes.
he had one called the geek wants to talk to you, and he had one about Airwolf as Airwolf. But if you look at Airwolf as Airwolf or the geek wants to talk to you, they are two of the funniest like just things you can just like if you find them just recite them. They're hilarious. I mean, I have read them so many times. They make me laugh out loud every time, especially because the geek wants to talk to you thing is something I just relate to on like a deep personal level.
Interesting. I actually do kind of like slam poetry. I mean, there's a lot of it that's very cringe, but like it's art. Art is supposed to. I would argue that art is supposed to be cringe to some extent.
Yeah,
the cringe.
because cringe is sincerity, right? And
Yeah.
and sometimes so yeah, so it can be, but I embrace the cringe. I believe in the holy
Hey,
gospel
Moose.
of Jesus cringes of the cringe Jesus.
You mean Jay Regus?
The cringe Jesus is what I call him. But yeah, that's fine too. Whatever you said.
Cringe J-Reg.
like
He has this whole thing about what is it? Cringe accelerationism, where you like we just accept cringe like and be cringe like just in society, and eventually what is cringe will become not cringe,
But
and
then it
we'll
just
get this
becomes
sort of
banal and pathetic. Like I don't think it moves into a range where it's not negative.
no, then it just
somehow.
becomes normal.
I don't know.
But
I
see,
don't know if it becomes normal.
that's the thing.
Like I don't know if normal is the opposite of not cringe.
No, the origin of
No, I think
it's
that's the
definitely
case.
not. I mean, what other people think is cringe, I don't necessarily think is cringe, but still. But I
Right.
mean, I still think I still say I'm a dad. If I don't embrace cringe, what am I? I mean, like cringe
True.
is dadism.
Hey, I got
Even, as I said, I don't think it's a
someone at my front door. I gotta go
accident.
deal with that. So I'll talk to y'all
okay.
and I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay.
Sure, yeah, pussy, run away like you.
Oh, I didn't know if he was leaving himself on. All right, well, I find now's your chance. He's gone. You can have the spotlight for a little bit.
I have to talk now. Okay.
You don't have to, but I know that you like. It's hard when Lib's around. It makes it harder for you. So.
Oh yeah, you can't get a word in, and nothing productive happens.
Yeah,
That's true.
So now's your chance.
Oh, okay. So, if you want to talk about like left wing versus right wing politics, I guess we can talk about that.
what-
So one of my first projects will probably be ending Young's career because he has this movement called enlightened centrists. Which I
No,
believe
it's because
he
he won't let
subscribes to.
you on without a camera.
I know he won't debate a seashell.
Why would
And
you just go
so,
on camera? Who cares? But wear like a baklava, like I mean a baklava. I mean a balaclava. Just wear a balaclava, you know. Just cover your face up. Who gives a
Do
shit?
you have like a human AI face you could use?
yeah.
He won't
Just
debate a
just
cartoon.
put
I
a
know
ski
that for a
just put a
fact.
ski mask on and go on the
He
stream, and
might
he'll let you
debate a
on. It
human
doesn't matter.
avatar.
Anyways, yeah. So, I do agree that Lib is left wing. That's part's correct.
Yeah,
The
well, yeah, he self identifies as left wing.
the part I disagree with Young is that he's a centrist, which is just making it even more confusing because he's actually also a left wing person, and so
On some things he's right. I'm a centrist as well. Most of us are here. 'Cause
right,
this
right,
community
right.
grew out here.
I know what you mean when you say that, and Young, and that's what I was pointing out, that Young debates this imaginary right wing that doesn't exist, and so he portrays, I guess, what he feels like is the GOP, Republican Party, or whatever, in quotes, conservatives are the right wing, and so that's the problem, is that people like Lib and Paul feel like they're debating the right wing when they're not anywhere even near the right ballpark. So
Well, you
that's
said
what I
you're
was
so
talking about.
far out, far right that maybe you're
Yep.
off too.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely so far right that just like Lib claimed the left wing, I'll go ahead and claim the right wing. So we can talk about that if you want to.
Yeah, but I don't know how left, because Lib is not extreme left. He's more sensible left, and he has limits to his left, like what he's willing to do for his leftism. So I don't consider him extreme left.
I don't care like which version of left he is. I agree 100% he is left. So that's all that I need for
Yeah,
the
I mean,
discussion.
he himself would say he's left, but I don't think we have the extremes that you think we have with Lib.
The main problem is the center and right. That's where the confusion begins, and so that's what I was going
Why
to
is it
talk
a problem?
to you
I
about.
consider myself center right, so I'm probably right in that
I know you do.
territory. Why is that a
I
problem?
know you do, Jeff, and that's what I've been saying for many streams. If anyone was listening to any of my words, that just because the left has abandoned you, that doesn't make you right.
No,
That you're not right
I
wing now.
left the left. I left the left.
Okay, and so you can call yourself a centrist if you want, like Paul does, for example. Paul thinks he's a centrist, and so um, it's a very simple Overton window. We've already covered this a few hundred times, but one more time, just for good measure. When the Overton window has moved so far into the batshit crazy left wing, now you people think you're right wing. You think you're right wing because you're not as batshit crazy as some of the left wing SJW woke people are.
No,
And
that's
so like
if
people
you're
like,
trying to tell me what's in my head, you're not even close. You're bad at this.
I'm using the royal you, not you
Oh,
specifically, but
okay.
you probably
Well, I don't
fall
know
under
how.
that
I don't
group.
know by what authority do you come by and correct everybody's identification of themselves
By words having meaning. And so
that you
again,
decide
yeah, I'll decide it. So the difference between the
on what
right wing,
authority? On what authority?
that words have meaning. So again, I
Yeah, but
understand
on what authority do we privilege your meanings over anybody else's?
basic understanding of how language works, like English,
Well,
common
how does
nomenclature,
it
stuff like
happen
that.
to work like you use it and not everybody else?
Because again, there is a opposition in views. So the opposing view of immorality is morality. So just because the center claims they are moral doesn't mean they are the right wing, and they represent.
Where are you
moral
getting
side
that
of the
from?
argument.
Because most centrists I know don't go around claiming we're moral, we're moral, we're moral. It's not explicit.
And likewise, the size and power of government is another easy one. So I've recently proposed this idea. It may take a while to catch on, but I think it's pretty simple. It doesn't require a lot of debate, by the way. So the left wing are very fond of authoritarian governments. And so the right wing would naturally be the libertarian side of the argument. But that's not traditionally used in that framework, which I can easily argue, but again, it just depends on who you're talking to.
Man.
And then finally, the easy one is socialists versus capitalists. And again, that's an easy one. Everyone knows who's left wing and who's right wing in those particular examples. So that requires less debate because most people agree to those terms.
Unless it's corporate socialism, wasn't that mostly
No, again,
right-wing
Jeff,
Republican doing?
again, the debate is between socialism and capitalism, not all the little
But
subcategories.
not corporate socialism, because that
Not
would,
all the little subcategories, just
that would expand it outside of your narrow framing.
the core black and white is socialism and
Hey, Jeff.
capitalism. The subcategories is where you get into all the gray terms, like what about fascism? What about communism? What about laissez-faire capitalism? There's all the little labels you can put on it. It doesn't change the core argument. The core argument.
It doesn't if you don't talk about them. If you throw them in there, it very possibly could. That's why you're trying so hard not to talk about them.
I think about them all the
if you're going to
time.
talk about socialism, you need to include and emphasize corporate socialism as well.
I talk about them all the time. So, anyways,
Mild socialism is good. Like, if we didn't have mild socialism, like being for the poor or the sick, like me, I'm on SSDI, which is not much money at all. There's illegals getting more money than I am. You believe that? They have they're illegals. They're being shipped into our country, and they're getting over $1,000 in one state. I was like talked about on the fucking news and shit. It's just like,
Yeah, I
man,
saw that report. I mean, it's in New York, and but then
fuck
again,
New York.
$1,000 in New
Get
York
really
is $1,000 in New York is like $50 in most other places. So to be fair,
So iFi.
yes, sir.
So my company, I work for Megacorp. They're moving work from people who want to leave earlier to me, who just ends up cleaning up after them. That's socialism, correct?
Socialism is when the state owns the land, businesses, and profit and regulate who can do what with those things.
Okay, so if a private company does the exact same thing, the state. Okay, so if a private company implements socialism, that's not socialism because it's a private company.
A private company is someone who owns their land and resources and has the voluntary exchange of goods and services with access to the free market. That's what capitalism
Okay. Okay, so if a company just runs itself like socialists internally, that's fine because it's a private company. I got it.
Good. I'm glad you get it because, again, people pretend like we still have to debate this and figure out what these words mean.
Okay, so we can get rid of socialism just by putting a shim company just under the government, and everything's fine.
We
Even
can get
though
rid of
it's not.
socialism by allowing citizens to privately own their land, resources, and businesses and profit, and voluntarily exchange goods and services through the free market.
Whoa! You're going too far. We're just gonna give it to a giant company, and it will implement socialism. But since it's a private company, it's technically capitalism.
Do you see what
There we go.
happens,
Sorry
Hank,
about
when
that.
we have to redefine terms 1,000 times in one conversation? Even
No,
though we already
we're
defined
going
the
we're
term?
going with the same terms. It's just the terms are not good enough.
What's not good enough about the term? Please tell me what we need to
Because
correct
if
about it.
we could just have a private company implement socialism, and it's still capitalism because a private company did it. So we have single payer healthcare, that's capitalism as long as it's not the government.
The problem with capitalism is when
Did you
the
say that
government
single-payer
gets
healthcare
involved.
is capitalism?
Yes, I did. So if it's a single payer's a private company, then it's capitalism by IFI's definition.
The problem with
Oh, what's his
capitalism
definition?
is when the government gets involved, because now you're talking about socialism. So that's the problem,
But
Hank.
we already agreed that we live in a mixed market system right now.
You also, I would also argue that you can't
Right,
have
that, Jeff.
capitalism without a state.
I would agree.
Yeah, because you have to have the state protecting the interests of capital to prevent capitalism from devolving into like petty warlords and like just pseudo feudalism.
So, Jeff, you may also notice in your country you have some left-wing people and some right-wing people. So there goes the whole argument. Now we can't talk about anything because no words have meaning.
All right, that works for me.
No, but I think it's important if you're going to try to communicate to understand what people mean by the words they use.
Do you see the
how they're
chart
using the
behind
word.
me, Jeff?
Well, I don't know, because like
Feel free to
understand what
make
you're
my
saying
screen
because, like,
big if you can't
'cause, like,
read it. Yeah, there you go.
I talked to a French person once, and I couldn't understand a goddamn thing they were saying, so I assumed they're stupid.
Okay,
Yeah.
so which one of these words is confusing the debate? Is it because capitalism is on the right and socialism's on the left? Is that the confusing part, Jeff?
Well, the big part is political.
Unless you're a
It's
left
like-
that believes in capitalism.
I didn't. I'm not
or-
talking about any specific example. I'm just saying that kind of stuff does happen when you're having these kind of conversations.
I'll tell you
if
where
you're
it gets.
gonna, if you're going to
Jeff,
earnestly
I'll
try
tell
to
you-
communicate a message that's important to you,
Jeff,
it's
I'll
important
tell
for
you
other
where it
people
gets
to understand how you're using the words you're using, like what they mean to you.
I'll tell you where it gets complicated, Jeff. I'll go ahead and solve that problem for you. So most people don't take the time and effort to separate what they're talking about. They try to pile all the ideas together into one term called left and right. Now I can show you a bad example of that and a good example of that. A bad example of that is, let's pretend I'm in a room with like 4-year-olds or something like that, and then I suddenly started talking about, hi, 4-year-old children, my name's IFI. I'm going to talk about conservatarianism, and the right wing is the moral libertarian capitalists, and the left wing are the immoral authoritarian socialists. And so immediately they can't follow what I'm talking about because I'm already talking about 3 different categories into one term.
I don't know where I am on the chart. I'm a realist.
Yeah, don't worry about the chart, Hank. Political compasses are like they basically remove all nuance from politics.
And so you see, Hank, this is what
This is
happens when
what
you
I
define
find
terms.
challenging.
The leftists don't like it when you define terms because they don't want to admit who and what they are.
Well, the leftists
mean,
define
use
terms too. They
Plurcom
just
also.
define them differently. That's why it's so important.
So
to figure out
Hank, look at
lexicon you're using.
the chart behind me.
Yeah.
Lib is a libertarian socialist. So he's on the bottom left corner of this chart. He's one of those anarcho-communists. Can you see that title right next to my shoulder there?
Mhm.
Okay, so that's who he claims to be. But as we all know in real life, what happens is all the communists always becoming authoritarian.
Actually, what
Socialist.
typically happens is after a revolution, the communists kill all the anarchists.
So if you look at the chart to the top left of me, you'll see communism
And then the
up at the
fascists
top.
kill the communists. So
All right, yeah, that's
So Hank, if you look at the top left corner of the chart, you can see what happens in real life. Communists always become authoritarian socialists.
Okay, so in the private chat, I gave you a political ball. I want you to plot that ball on your chart.
Machiavellianism.
Yes, plot it on your chart.
Based.
So Hank, if you look
left
at
off it.
if you look at the chart on the right hand side, it says libertarian capitalism. That's what IFI is talking about.
Okay. I gave you a challenge. I want you to plot
This is
that
one of Hank's
ball
tangents.
on your
He's
chart.
taking you down a different path.
What is your challenge, Hank? What do you want me
Yeah,
to do?
in the private chat, I gave you a Politicon ball. I want you to plot that ball on your chart.
Okay, I'll look at that later. I'm not going to do
Can we
that
just
right
leave
now.
this to J-Reg? He does it better.
He does do it better.
He does do it better.
What does he do? Plot your ball?
So Hank,
Yeah, he's a.
we don't need extra
Median?
steps. We already
But
defined
Lib,
terms.
wait, I have a question for Liv.
We
If-
point to
okay,
where who's in
Liv,
the room
if I-
talking,
Hey.
and they still won't.
Hey,
admit
hey,
it.
hey!
They
I'm
still
asking my
add
question
more
of Liv.
words.
I-Fi. For a second, Lib.
Mhm.
If I lived in your little community
Sure.
and I wanted to hang out with I-Fi, I wanted I-Fi to come over and play a board game or watch some kind of movie or something. Would I be allowed to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, we've gone over this.
Would I be allowed to have phone conversations with I-Fi?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Lib's little community is already more free than the one you described to me, I-Fi. If you want to talk about authoritarianism.
Oh yeah,
far,
Jeff, you're right.
You
You're
are
right.
the one tilting the scale in that direction.
You're right,
with
Jeff.
your utopia more than he is.
You're right, Jeff. Once again, you're right. There's nothing to argue with here because you're absolutely right, Jeff. There is no historic example of humans who ever claimed to be communists and how they handled capitalists in the room. You're right. All they did was play Parcheesi all day and braid each other's hair, because when there are capitalists in the room of the authoritarian government of the communists who send them to gulags and re-education camps and enact cultural revolutions, that was just in our imagination, Jeff. That never really happened. See, what
No,
you don't
those
understand
things-
is
those things happen.
in
nonetheless,
Lib's
like,
world, we would all
in
be
Lib's
braiding each other's
world,
hair
that's the-
and singing
that is the
Kumbaya.
point.
This is a board game of
That is
I
the
mean,
point. That is, we're talking about
true.
Lib's
I remember
world.
that
In
game.
Lib's version of this, Lib's version of socialism is more free than your version of capitalism. That's the point. We're not saying
No,
that.
no,
yes,
that's not the
in
point.
general, communists and
That was my
socialists have
point.
been very
I
authoritarian.
mean, I knew what
and
my
a very-
point was. That was my point.
No, again, the
That was a
point
good
is,
Okay, well, that was what I got out of it. Sorry about that.
the point is, Chris, ask Lib how you centrally plan the economy, seize the means of production within a libertarian government. Go ahead and
You
ask
don't.
him how you do that.
And he would say that you don't, because I think I understand this from Lib. If I'm wrong, Lib, then you can feel free to correct me. But
Mm-hmm.
my understanding is that you see this as a long-term goal of trying to literally change people's like hearts and minds over and getting them to see the light, and more or less, right? And I could be wrong about that.
More or less. I wouldn't put it in those terms exactly.
I'm
but
being
that's
I'm
a-
being broad. I'm
yeah,
being very
that's a-
broad and simplistic in order to just to like cut to the gist. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
As far as economics, I think the centralization of economics under the government is probably a bad idea. I do think that it's best left to communities with merely oversight from government to ensure that things function smoothly. But like the actual like functioning of the economy is down to the individual, to communities, that sort of thing.
And for bonus lulls, Chris, ask Lib how you have a state and or government within an anarcho-communist society.
You
well,
don't.
I
create
know.
your
I
government.
know from Lib's past statements, he would say that a government is necessary, but he's against the idea of the state, which is a monopoly on violence in his definition. I mean, it's not necessarily something that I fully necessarily agree with, but at the same time, like I mean, if it was possible to have such a society, I wouldn't be against it. I just don't think it's possible.
Sure.
I mean, there's
Oh,
no
is
government
that
between the
because
states
words
now.
have meaning? Fascinating.
Yes,
There's no
words do
government
have
between the
meaning.
states right
I never
now.
said, I
so
never stated
we're
that words
there.
didn't have meaning.
Hey, Cynthia. Lib, did
Well,
you want
they
to answer
they
this
don't when you
imaginary
debate the
question?
left. That's for sure. Words have no meaning whatsoever.
What question am I answering? I'm sorry.
How do you have
Whichever
an
one I pretended to
anarcho-communist society without a government, Lib?
You don't. You have a government. Governments
Oh,
seem
Have a
to.
government, yeah.
So
Gov-
your
governments-
anarchy has government. That's a fascinating definition. You should tell Chris more about it because words mean.
You should have met
things
that
to him.
cat. He's not even the only one.
In
Words
his,
do,
in
in
his
fact, mean
definition,
things.
an anarchist system would be one without a state. Would
Make a
be one without
distinction
state, not
between a
government.
state and a
government
But you
that
can
would
have a
exist, and it would
government
be a
in
demo-
anarchy,
a democratic,
Chris.
a
Yes.
fiercely democratic government chosen by the people, in his
Yes.
view. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what anarchy means. It means a government that is run by government and centrally planned economy governments. That's
Well,
what anarchy
it does seem to be that governments of any kind seem to just be what the method by which humans govern themselves. A state is basically like a separate thing that is stapled onto governments. It gives governments power, particularly in governments which are not democratic.
I mean,
Dem-
essentially,
democratic-
a government in your system, unless I'm wrong, is really just nothing more than a collection of civil servants chosen by the people to carry out certain tasks on behalf of the people. Correct?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most governments require a state because most governments throughout history have not been democratic. So the way that the government enforced their will was via violence. However, that's not, I don't believe, necessary for every government. In fact, I think democracies have much less, even today, democracies have much less use for their being a state than non-democracies. Like today,
What do you mean by that? What you talking about, Willie?
like for instance, the American government today has much less use, has much less need to use its monopoly on violence to get its shit done because we are a democracy, and because people have a voice within the government, it's consensual. It's more consensual. So it's much easier to get things done without having to utilize that force. It's one of the many benefits of democracy, is that you disempower the state via democracy because it's via consent of the governed.
But I still think you need some sort of enforcement mechanism, whether you call it the state or government or.
Well, I mean, yeah, the government.
At this point,
you need
at this point
some
we would.
form of
There isn't a
force.
way to do that without something. But like his point is an idealistic point of view of saying that this is where he would like to see humanity. This is what he thinks that humanity can and eventually could achieve.
Yeah,
That's
I
his
do agree that today states are necessary to one degree or another. But I am a strong proponent of democracy in today because I think that de-emphasizes the role of the state.
Yeah.
You don't need as powerful of a state if you have a democracy.
Do you feel like you were born too early?
No, I wouldn't say like. I mean, I don't want to answer for it. I don't want to answer for him in this case, but I would say like my personal opinion is I don't think anyone who believes in something like that is born too early or something like that. If there aren't any people that are born before that kind of a state of existence could possibly to exist, that state of existence could never exist because there's no one to envision it. So, I mean, by some definition, you need people that are visionaries.
But if it's something that's going to
create
happen on
visions.
its own, or if it's
I don't think-
deterministic, then why does it matter? Why does it need someone to envison it or not?
I don't think
consequences.
it's deterministic. I don't think that like my ideal is is necessarily going to happen like via like force of history.
Well, I do
like,
want to hear your answer too. If you think you were born too early, you seem like out of not fit in with this time, out of sync with this time, but very suited to this future utopia that hasn't happened yet.
I don't think or I don't know whether or not I'm particularly suited to my future utopia. But as far as like being born too, I mean, look, all right, born too late to sail to explore the Earth, born too early to explore the stars. Like, I guess in that sense,
My only quibble with you on that, Lib, like I can't remember what you said before. Do you have any intention of ever having children?
No.
So see, like that's my only real problem, because like if you really want to achieve that goal and you really want to see that happen, I think that the best possible way you have of doing that is having children and raising them to believe in those things and work for them as well, because you can't depend on, well, for example, the state to educate children in that proper way, that in the proper way that you would want to see them envision the world. I mean, I would never want 10 kids, but if I could have like 2 more kids, if I could have like 4 kids, I'd be very happy. It's just not possible for my family. But
no, I get that. Spiritual Jew.
He's definitely a psyop. There's no debate there.
Yes, I
I'll
am.
debate that. I'll debate that.
I am in fact a Fed.
Yeah.
God, can you give
So,
me,
hey,
can you give me a good
Joe Fed
reference?
card.
Can you give me a good reference to how to get into
I
the
can.
Fed thing?
Look,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
I can.
I'm really desperate for
I got-
work, and I'm already on these streams anyway. I might as well get paid for it.
I got my reference from Vosh, another Fed. So yeah, you might be able to get one that way.
So,
Was the
Hank,
horse porn a
But he's
psyop?
gonna let me dress up like a
You
little
wanna talk
girl
now?
and get
No, wait.
by a horse. So like it's
No,
gonna be a little
the
fun.
horse porn's genuine. Okay,
Right.
Vosh does want to be a horse. He wants a horse dick.
Okay,
That's
even
genuine.
worse. I have to dress up like a little girl and then have him dress up like a horse. And
I
talk
want to
me.
keep
I
my
don't- I
stream.
don't
Just
care.
keep that in mind. This is an entertainment show.
This is an entertainment show.
Entertainment.
Look,
We're
the
workshopping a
entire
comedy
internet
bit.
is talking about the Vosh horse thing on every thing on YouTube is talking about it. We're not gonna get shut down for that. Trust me, because there's way worse than what I just said. Like right now on YouTube with like millions of views. So
Yeah.
like we're
You
good.
ever seen that documentary about those real horse fuckers and one guy that died because he was?
Oh, yeah.
That's up here in
Oh, yeah.
Enumclaw. That's up here in
Yeah,
Washington State.
Man,
Yeah,
that must be
it
a
was-
badge of honor for your state, right?
Oh God.
They knew.
I don't live there. So I'm there.
That is a badge
I
of honor if I've
find
ever
that-
heard one.
Feel free to redirect it.
Oh, no,
Just
no,
something
no.
that
We're
has
not
a
allowed to
highbrow.
interject.
No,
here's
he-
some
Not
trick-
allowed by
here's-
not allowed by whom? People interject
the
all
trans-
the time on here.
Communist
I don't feel not
propagandist
to.
isn't allowing anyone else to
Here's-
speak. So we'll
The
just
host
wait.
just said you gave
No,
permission.
nobody's stopping anyone from speaking.
And
Yeah,
I've been talking
I'm
to
the
Oh,
only one
okay,
in
so-
control of that, and I'm
so,
not doing
Hank,
it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Hank, perhaps you can help me out here, brother. Would you agree that war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength?
Well, I'm a Discordian, so in some sense, yes.
Okay,
And also,
so,
don't trust everything you read. Don't trust
okay.
everything you read.
Don't
but
trust
in some
anything you
sense,
read.
yes.
That's it. Me and you, Hank, we are aligned on that one. Don't trust anything you fucking
Okay,
read.
I don't trust everything you read. What you're really saying is we should trust everything we read. Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, I'm saying we only
in some
trust
sense,
YouTube
yes, but in this sense, no.
In some sense, yes. Okay, in what sense do you mean?
So what sense I need? So
It's just a
so-
joke. It's a joke.
so-
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's not.
But it's
like,
not a joke.
Discordianism-
It's a joke, but it's not a
Discordianism
joke.
Is a religion disguised as a joke, or a joke disguised as a religion, depending on who you ask, and both are true.
So when
So-
you say
so
joke, what
ignorance
you
and
mean
strength
is
is
it's
gonna
the
be
most
the
serious
easiest
thing
one.
on earth. Is that what I'm hearing? Is
So-
that correct?
So
Most
Yes.
serious thing on earth, and it's also
Okay.
the least serious thing that's ever existed. Yeah.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
Well,
gotcha,
Frank,
okay.
you have the option of coming up.
yeah, so ignorance and strength to be the easiest thing to go. So a lot of ignorant people don't have to deal with cleaning up other people's messes, and that's a strong position. So yes.
Oh, okay. So ignorance is strength. I agree.
Yeah.
Do you agree that war is peace?
And usually I use those as antonyms, so I would say no.
Oh, so when you say no, you
So
mean
wait,
yes?
this was your attempt to get the stream back on track from Libs?
No,
Before
Jeff.
we
I
derail
want to
it.
make sure we keep the theme consistent because words have no meaning on this stream. So I want to join Lib's party and talk for hours and have no meaning or any substance to any of my words.
Yeah.
So
I'm done.
can I have my
So
turn
you-
for an hour
you're
now?
being juvenile right now. The
So when
words
you
have
say
no
I'm
meaning
juvenile, are you
thing
saying
is-
I'm being
that's
an
the-
adult
that's the
and
meaning
mature?
that you're trying to make happen. That's not something that actually.
Well, Jeff
happens on
isn't
this
Jeff
stream.
is,
We
isn't
argue
a
about-
Discord, doesn't claim to be a
We
Discordian.
argue
So why
about
would you
meaning
think?
in words all the time. My AI is full of records of us asking about different meanings.
So when you say I'm being juvenile, are you saying I'm really being a mature adult? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, I'm saying you're
No,
being really
he's not a
childish right
Discordian,
now.
so it wouldn't. That
You
wouldn't.
get these little chips
that
on
wouldn't
your show. You have poor, like, emotional management or coping or something. You get these little chips on your shoulder, like with P.F. Jung, and now with this thing, and you turn them into these big dramatic crusades.
Yeah, but at least he's not claiming to try to annihilate the Panelverse like one guy. So I can
we'll
I
get-
can live with him at least.
We'll get to the
all I know is
Panelverse
every
in a
time
minute, Hank.
every time I thing, I can only think of the version, the parrot in Kill la Kill with Satsuki Kirin standing up and yelling out, "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength."
That's from
I love that
1984.
ad.
Let me.
Yeah.
No, I know,
try
but
to-
it was
let me
parodied
try to
in
give
Kill
you
la
some
Kill.
clarity on Discordianism from our holy text that the Principia Discordia. It is from the opening of it. That maybe this can give you. It's kind of an interview, a kind of a back and forth between between one of the founders and also kind of a goddess type.
They'll
character.
never take me alive,
Um,
machine.
Yeah, it's like one asks, "Is Eris true?" and the other one says, "Everything is true, even false things. Even false things are true. How can that be? I don't know, man. I didn't do it." So now you kind of see my point. This is how Discordianism works. The primary revelation in where Discordianism began was in a bowling alley, actually, where all time stopped and a monkey appeared and pronounced to the few people that were still moving and not frozen in time, said, "Gentlemen, we have nipples, yet we do not give milk."
Mhm.
Where did all of this chaos come from? And so I'm just trying to give you an idea of the tone of Discordianism. It's both way more serious and way less serious than you think it is.
It came from trans communism. Everyone knows that, Chris.
No, it
Haven't you been
didn't.
keeping?
It is the opposite of transcommunism.
Did you get the stream back on the track you were trying to get it on from Lib?
I hope not. I've been trying to keep it derailed for this
No,
whole
I'm talking
time.
about
so
Wi-Fi.
I know. I'm saying. I hope he didn't.
Because it was this your. Are you satisfied with your attempt to redirect it?
Does it sound like I'm satisfied?
I don't know how to read that. You just have to tell me.
You never sound satisfied, so I'm gonna assume yes.
At least you tried, Hank. At least you tried. I'll bake you a cake someday. So Hank, we'll come back to the Panelverse drama some other time. That's
Wait, what's the
boring
latest?
shit.
What's the latest drop? The last I heard, Machine and
some-
Talcott that like
Some
broke up.
Minecraft players were debating about whether or not it's sexual harassment if you say things about public Instagram models' photos or something. I don't know. It's completely retarded.
Hmm.
I can play
Oh,
that in the
yeah.
background if you want, but that's
Yeah,
it's,
Officer
it's
Snipes is
super
afraid
retarded.
of all sexual activity. It's not a big deal. Just
Hank, is there
And yet
anything
it-
going on in our little corner? lately?
mainly I pretty much killed most of it. That was the plan. I didn't drop a Lumitar because he calmed
Quit starting
down.
rumors.
So pretty much this nothing's really happening in Slavia. Jack Talcott was annoying the machine live, so we kicked him from the server.
Machine.
So it's pretty
Oh,
slow.
Jack kicked Machine. Or
No,
Machine
machine
kicked
kicked Jack.
Oh.
But it's pretty slow everywhere, and that's what I wanted.
Well, that's nice to have it slow for a little while.
Yeah.
Let me read you guys the. I finally found the Geek Wants Out by Ernest Klein. I'm gonna read this guy to you guys and see how many people can relate to this. I think this is a classic piece of I won't be able to read it with the same
Literature.
verve that Ernest Klein read it, but it's just like it's like a non it's not a rhyming poem, but it's kind of a poetry type piece. So it's not that long. I'll read to you real fast. At first glance, I probably appear to be a somewhat ordinary, somewhat average-looking fellow, calm, harmless, at ease. But this is by design, you see. It is through decades of research and rigorous training that I've crafted this facade of normalcy. And now, through intense concentration, I am able to function in a social setting. I can speak at length with educated people about pertinent matters of public importance, such as literature or the current political climate in Europe. I'm capable of conversing with you without ever revealing that underneath the surface, this manufactured veneer, there hides altogether a different person, a monster, some might say, my alter ego. He is the opposite of the image I perfect. He is the antithesis of cool. He is the last person you want to get trapped into a conversation with. He is the geek. The obsessive science fiction movie watching, comic book collecting, Monty Python dialogue memorizing, Dungeons and Dragons playing geek that I struggle daily to keep hidden from the world. But the geek wants out. He wants to talk to you. He wants to give you his doctoral dissertation on why The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension is the greatest fucking film of all time. He wants to bitch slap you because you've never seen Big Trouble in Little China. What have you ever been living in a fucking cave? He wants to kick your ass in Star Wars Trivial Pursuit, and he will because he's a fucking geek. He wants his toys and he wants the complete set in mint condition. He's still in the box. He wants every item on the planet that is even remotely related to Ultraman because Ultraman is Airwolf. He could give a squirt of piss about sports or political rhetoric. Such things are of no consequence to him. What matters is the release date of the next Lord of the Rings movie. You see, the geek can't wait. He has no patience. He wants what he wants when he wants it, and what he wants is stupid shit. He wants his own TARDIS. He wants his own lightsaber. He wants to buy a DeLorean. He wants to drive it at 88 miles per hour. He wants movies. He wants to see the director's cut. He wants the impossible to find Japanese bootleg with 6 minutes of never-before seen footage. He wants to watch Blade Runner again. He wants to watch Brazil again. He wants to watch A Clockwork Orange again and again. But to deprive him of these things as best I can, until I can no longer ignore his voice screaming in my head, I am Jekyll, he is Hyde. I am Bruce Banner, he is the Hulk, especially Hulk from issues 272 to 378. But no longer. I am putting a stop to all this nerdy shit right now. I'm an adult, for Christ's sake, and this body isn't big enough for the both of us. One of us has to go, and it's going to be him. I am banishing the geek forever to the Phantom Zone, just like in Superman 2, because in the end, there can only be one. So, I love that.
Discordianism.
I just think that's a hilarious little spoken word piece that he did. Yeah, there's an album of him doing those.
Yeah, I
things.
banished the other one because that one, but did too much people pleasing, and people are freaking monsters. So I banished the other one.
Is that the
banished-
one that's
banished
real
what?
silly? It has like fantasy elements to it. With what's
What?
his face? Kurt Russell. Hey, Chuck.
Oh, Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little
Yeah.
China. I enjoy it.
Because I get it
I like.
confused with Chinatown.
I also like Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, but I don't think it's the greatest fucking film of all time. I mean, I don't relate to it that closely, but I do understand like that need that I understand the feeling of being in society and trying not to talk about geek things really badly, and just like there's this part of me that just wants to like start screaming about like something that I'm like geekily obsessed with, you know, and just like I can relate to it. That's all. I relate.
Chuck,
my solution
So
is
do you
just
wanna
trying
talk
to talk
about
to people
Lego
much
Star
less
Wars,
than I
or-
usually do. I just talk to people less that I've been
Lego
doing
Star
because
Wars? No, I don't
they
wanna talk about
literally
Lego
waste
Star
my
Wars.
time. They literally waste my time.
Wow.
They want me to clean up after them all the time. They can't finish their freaking work. So I
Who?
just people in general.
People enjoy. Yeah, well, people do suck. That is true. People do suck. I mean, I don't think anyone is
Oh, wow.
is saying that that's not true. But
Can you
Chuck,
read that?
what-
It's too
what
Oh, what else
small.
sucks? Disney Star Wars.
yes, Disney Star
There
Wars
you
does suck,
go.
except for Last
Well,
Jedi,
see?
which is the best Star Wars movie.
That's an
Star
opinion.
Wars is Lego Star Wars.
Based. Those games are super fun. I actually love the Lego Star Wars games.
I do too. I
you-
even got the one that they did where the complete series one where they redid everything and everything, and it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I just I never finished it though. I mean, they get pretty boring pretty fast, but.
I thought
Did you
you
guys
did
hear
that
about that Lou? Did you guys hear about that Lou Dobbs religion? I think I'm enjoying that one. That sounds pretty
Who's
cool.
Lou Dobbs? Isn't he an old newscaster?
Yeah.
Who am I thinking? Ed
He has
Grant?
a religion.
Lou Dobbs.
Yeah, you never heard about the Dobbs? Oh man.
Instead of people tithing, do they
Isn't
just
that
give him
the-
food? He's like hugely fat, right? Isn't he like a big fat guy?
Yes.
Yeah, he seems like he just like would want people just to feed him constantly or something.
Chuck, what's new with
See,
you?
here's
What's that, Jeff?
What's new with you?
Oh, I don't know. Talcott's still on his. He kept dragging me into his
I
conversation
saw that last night.
night.
He kept bringing your name up. You weren't even on the show. I saw that.
No, I got there late, and yet he was still talking about how I hadn't said anything. I think he
Hey,
wants to
Talcott,
denut me.
Talcott, I think it's time, man. I think it's time we gotta say it. You gotta keep Chuck's name out of your goddamn mouth, man. You know we're gonna have to get ghetto up here. I'm just kidding.
This entertainment show.
Well, we're not. Well, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna. I don't even know where Talcott lives. I'm not gonna do any. I've never physically assaulted even in self-defense ever hurt anybody my whole life. I'm a pacifist.
Well, that's like last night. He had Uncle Fatty on there, and Uncle Fatty was trying to express what he was feeling, and Talcott just abruptly goes, "So what? What's that got to do with me? How's that going to help me?"
That is the most Talcott thing that Talcott has ever Talcotted.
And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Narcissism in a few words.
Yeah.
I'm not
it
going to
really is.
use none of them big educated words because I'm not qualified.
Hey Chuck,
But he's
do
a
you want
nut
to join
job.
Hey Chuck, do you want to join the Lou Dobbs religion? I'm taking
You're
new
talking about the Church of the
recruits.
Subgenius. Church of the Subgenius is just a ripoff of Discordianism, but it's more cynical and kind of icky to me. I don't like Church of the Subgenius because it's like Discordianism is actually
You're a
very
heretic.
positive. No, but I'm serious. Discordianism came first, and the Church of the Subgenius ripped it
You
off
will
and
be
just took.
discommunicated.
That's fine. You can just communicate. I don't want anything to do with Church of the Subgenius.
Excommunication.
They're a bunch of cynical assholes that have no interest in doing anything outside of just being cynical assholes. Like their whole thing.
Hey Chris,
See, you're
how do I
one of those kumbaya hippie freaks. You need to join
hang
the
on?
one
This is
true
important.
religion.
Chris,
Yeah.
they how do I watch they have a documentary out now on the Satanic Church, the Church of Satan. That it's gonna
Documentary?
be at
What's it called?
Sundance. Huh? It's called
called?
Realm of Satan, I think.
Realm of Satan.
Yeah, but it's going to be at
if-
Sundance.
if
I don't
I
know
can
if it's
find it,
out yet or
if I can
not.
find it,
So
I'll
how
get it
do
for
you
you.
watch? How do you watch a movie that may not be released yet?
If it hasn't
The
been
sea-
released yet
High
in a
seas.
form where someone can rip it, you're not gonna be able to watch it until it's actually out. You'll have to actually go find it in a theater or something. But I mean, like, it doesn't mean that there could be cams of it out there, but I doubt it. But I mean, people don't usually cam at festivals, so I wouldn't, and you wouldn't want to watch it on a cam anyway. It'd be like phone audio quality, and it'd be a shot on somebody's phone. It'd be shitty. Just give it a month or so, and it'll hit whenever it hits streaming services, and it'll be all over the internet. So.
I wonder
Hey
if it's
Jeff, when you have some
working-
free time, can you tell Machine Lies how to do a restream on a StreamYard host, because he doesn't know which button to push. I don't either.
He,
Is he
well,
trying
he
to
didn't
stream
say.
this one?
He didn't say. He knows what button to push. He just doesn't want to do it. He knows how
No,
to
he
do
does.
it.
He said he does. He just didn't know how to do it. Maybe he can come
Well,
in
he's
here
in the
and
comments.
ask.
Get-
Just tell him he's watching.
Well,
Hey,
he
Machine
just-
Lies. Ask Jeff how to do it. He'll tell you how.
No, all
Are
you
you-
need to do. I'll tell him how to do
Are
it.
you-
Real quick. Just if you come in this room, there'll be a button on the assuming
Up at the
they have
top,
a paid
a blue
version of
button.
StreamYard. So if it's paid version of StreamYard, there'll just be a button on the top right. If it's not paid,
Yeah,
you can't.
if
do
it's
it.
not paid, you can't do it.
Yeah, no,
that's
I
true.
have it set.
Oh,
to
it's a
stream.
paid
So if
version.
you're
So
trying
like
to
the
stream
free
this
versions
stream-
don't have that option.
No,
Correct.
the
Yeah.
free
That
don't.
answers the question.
cores don't.
Never
If,
mind.
Well,
if, I-
he
if,
could-
if
he
I
could
actually,
just-
if I actually get my tax refund, I'm gonna buy like a year of like of StreamYard Premium. So
He could
more
actually
options
just
there.
come up here and play it.
Hey, Tim.
No,
are
I'm
you
just
a
saying,
Satanist?
like, whenever I'm on Machine Live stream, I want to restream to my channel, but there's no button option for it, so it's because you need the paid version.
He has
Thank
the
you,
paid
Hank,
version.
for answering the question.
He
I
has
was
a
so
paid.
be-
He
I was
has a paid
excited
version. I think he
to
can do it.
Oh,
Like,
okay, well
stream
then
it
tell him how
live.
to push the button to restream it, or
I
tell,
just
make that an
did. You
option.
weren't paying attention like you usually do. You weren't paying attention. I just did.
I don't have the
TML,
paid
if
version.
you
and
got
I'm
that-
not sharing.
If you
streams
got
yet.
that interaction
we
with
got the
Jack, you
message.
ought to play it.
We'll help him from here.
Okay,
Come by
yeah.
Lady
So next time he's
Babylon.
in, please
Is
help
that on
him so
YouTube?
that I can.
Do you have a link? You can hop in the back real quick if you want. Put it in private chat too. Lady Babylon.
Because when
666.
I'm
What
on other
branch of
people's
Satanism
streams,
is
I
this?
want to be able to share the love, and so I can do it on Jeff and Talcott shows, but like Machine Wise
Yeah.
and other people don't default to that position. So
Yeah, you can turn it off.
he told
but
me
you
he
need a
doesn't know
paid
how
version
to. So okay, well you just said he has the paid version, so you can go help him with his button pushing. So thank
Well,
you.
there-
He
that's
needs to push the
because
button here. If you want to stream us, you have to push our button.
Sorry,
Wait, what? Hang
sorry,
on, there's
sorry to
some news.
derail.
You're not sorry. Let's continue now.
I'm not sorry until we get to talk about left versus right, Hank. When are you ready?
We talk with it all the
plot-
time.
Yeah, I'll be
We're
ready when you
bored
plot
with it.
my
We're
ball
done.
on your chart. Plot my ball on your chart. That's when I'm ready. Or you can plot realism.
Plot these nuts on your chart.
Okay.
I clicked
so
on
you
your link,
can't
dude.
plot it,
It's
then
like a
settled.
whole
You
separate
don't-
thing.
Then so you can't have the conversation. You plot my ball on your chart.
Okay, well, let's try my version, and then if mine fails, let's try your version. Does that sound like a deal?
Negative.
Oh my God, Lib left. Now we can have a
I've
productive
got to deal
conversation.
with the
Okay.
devil.
Okay, so Hank, so earlier I was alluding to Paul Young's take on the enlightened centrist. Hold on, let me get this shit off my
Paul
background.
Young,
It's
that
retarded.
Edith singer?
Don't need that.
No, it's PF.
I mean,
Young,
like
you
that's
mean.
all.
Oh,
All
PF
of Paul's
Young.
videos are
Paul
about enlightened
Young.
centerism.
PF Young.
God.
Yeah, PF Young's all of his videos are about enlightened centerism. I don't understand like what's
Okay,
different this time.
so
Well, I
Hank,
thought we
I
got
think you would
Moose
agree.
here. You just gonna have to wait.
Shit.
We got Moose. Hi, Moose. What's up?
Okay,
Whoa, what's going on, guys? I heard I-Fi was getting his time in here, so I had to come up and jump in the mix.
Get yours.
Try to scare him off
Look-
because like he leaves.
looking
he
to
leaves-
get
he said-
pegged, are you,
he wouldn't
Booze?
stay on streams with you anymore. I still understand that one. I'm not like I still understand what Moose did to anyone, but
No,
whatever.
Chuck, we made up. All is forgiven, Moose. I forgive.
oh,
you.
is it?
Let's move on.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Praise God, thank you.
I don't
Chuck,
know what-
Chuck,
it-
It
Now,
was
if
a
me and
joke,
Jack
dude.
could make up, we'd be fine.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. But anyways, Chuck, it was a joke. You see, he was just making a
I
silly
know,
joke.
I
and
know, I
it was
know, Moose.
misunderstood.
Yes,
So, okay,
I know, Moose.
Jokes are meant to be funny, though.
okay. So
Unfortunately,
Hank,
Talcott,
shit, go ahead.
there's very likely not to be much resolution with Talcott until he gains a sense of humor of himself, and I don't know if that'll ever happen. So
He won't gain one.
yeah.
I want to see where TML kicked him out. Doggone it.
Oh,
He
I'll
was
mention
sweating
to it.
pretty hard
Oh
last
yeah,
night.
Machine.
Hank,
I
were you
was asking
watching?
you if you had a link to that part where you said Talcott lost it and went.
Yeah, because Jack says I always lie about
wait
it, and I
for it.
figured if we saw it, it wouldn't be lying.
I gave you a link to the TMO Discord. You can go look there.
so Hank, do you want to talk politics anytime soon or not? Do you want to skip it?
Well,
You
I would
just
like
ask your
somebody
question.
else to be able to get a word in, like
Yeah,
Moose or
yeah,
Busker
go,
or Chuck
yeah.
or somebody.
I agree. We should let Lib and Moose get a word in. You're right. I haven't stopped talking since I've came on, so let's let them talk for a while. Go ahead.
Well, take from that what you will, but that's not what I was trying to communicate.
Yeah, just ask your
Yes,
question real
if
quick.
anybody else has anything they want to add into the pot, to the gumbo.
Alpha, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay,
Hello,
Hank. So
housekeeping.
Hello. Hello.
housekeeping. Hank. So, would you agree that Paul is a pretty centered person and that he accurately represents the right wing in his portrayals of the left
Are you
versus
talking about
right
P.F.
debate?
Young?
Yeah,
Paul-
yes,
Yeah, PF
and
Young.
yes. PF Young and yes.
He,
Oh,
well,
okay.
I would say he a little bit less so since Israel Palestine, but still, I think for the most part.
Isn't he a centrist though?
He's an
Yeah,
enlightened.
he's just like I don't know. He
centrist,
kind of got on like the.
He's an
kinda got on,
enlightened
like,
centrist. He's the best kind because
Yeah, so-
centrists are so
Yeah.
enlightened.
So I would say yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so then you are part of his audience, and so now I have to figure out how to put, words into meaning so that we understand that we're talking about the same thing. So,
You don't have to
Have you
when
tried English?
when he criticizes conservatives, do you think he's talking about IFI? Is that who he has in mind?
You know who?
You
Like,
specifically
no, he's talking about people like
Donald
Matt,
Trump.
Matt Walsh and Nick Fuentes. Matt Walsh is the example he pulls up all the time.
Yes.
As
Matt
to
Walsh,
who's
Nick Fuentes,
too
Donald
far to the
Trump.
right, and I am a defender of Matt Walsh usually to him. There's some points I disagree with, but me and him fight over Matt Walsh all the time
Yeah.
because he thinks Matt Walsh is this big right-wing threat to America, and I think Matt Walsh is just about as normal as they come.
Yeah. Matt Walsh isn't a threat. I would say Fuentes and Trump is.
And the Groypers.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
and-
I wouldn't
Wilson,
say any of
too,
them.
I think,
I wouldn't say
would
any
put
of
him
them are a
Wilson's not a
threat,
threat.
except for the ones that are the only ones that are threats are the ones that are flying under the surface. The ones that you don't know about, those are the threats.
So when Jung is talking about the right, that's kind of who he's talking about.
You don't think that like Matt Walsh is on the far right?
I don't.
Well, yeah, he
consider
is,
him
but
far
he's
right.
not
I don't
a
know
threat
what the
because
far
he's
right
kind-
is anymore. Unless
he's
it's
more
like
of a
the
deadpan
Groypers
comedian
and
as
Nick
anything.
Fuentes and the-
Well, I mean, like I guess like I would consider like neocons more like center right, and like MAGA Republicans are in the far right,
I don't even
and
have a
then
problem with MAGA Republicans anymore.
I
didn't
don't know either.
I didn't say you have a problem with them. I'm just saying that they're definitely more extreme than like neocons.
I don't find them extreme. The
Hey,
MAGA
hey, can
Republicans?
you see the wall behind me there, buddy?
I've heard Walsh call out
Hello.
neocons.
Earth to
Go
Hank.
ahead, Buster. Go ahead. Let me get him
Okay,
out.
never mind.
I've
He's
heard Walsh.
What a
Wow.
shitty like slogan for like people to shit on. You know, like make America great again. Like aside from all the bullshit, like it's a great slogan.
MAGA.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a
I
great.
would-
Sure, but I'm talking
Funny,
about the
you
people
gotta
who
do
use
that.
the slogan. The people who use the slogan, I would argue they're at least the
You
politicians.
can't generalize about an
I'm
entire
talking
group
about
of
the
people just 'cause they
politicians,
use a slogan.
Jeff. I'm about to. If you let me.
I'm about to
Go
slap you, Jeff.
Go
if
ahead.
you just let me. I heard you, Lib. I heard you
Yeah,
almost
I know.
slip.
Yeah, I know. The MAGA Republican sort of like politicians, the actual politicians that they've gotten in, are far right.
Like Marjorie Green is that an
Marjorie
example of
Taylor
that?
Greene, Lauren Boebert, Matt Gaetz.
Okay.
These kinds of people are, I would describe, further right than neocons.
Do you think they're like? Do you take them seriously as a threat?
Depends on what
Matt
you mean
Walsh
by
got so voted out a speaker.
What about
Can
the
you-
Hodge
can-
twins?
Hold it.
Those-
Can you
those
give me an
two
example of
guys
a
are
neocon?
crazy.
Can you give me? I don't
yeah,
know.
I mean, he's dead, but John McCain is probably like the
A
quintessential
modern
neocon.
living neocon.
Oh, okay. I
modern
understand
living
what John
neocon.
McCain is.
What's his face? I mean, I guess he's only barely living, but Mitch
Skeleton.
McConnell.
Neo